Well, thank you. And I guess I would just add a few observations. You know, this is my 14th state of the state in an era of term limits. That's kind of a remarkable thing. I've served with 3 governors, and I'll tell you, every time I've seen this governor give a speech, what he says sounds good, and then what he does is the exact opposite. I have no reason to believe that what the governor has laid out tonight are things that he is going to accomplish or even wants to accomplish, because sometimes he's handed his agenda by special interests or the right-wing legislators that are a part of the party he's had such a hard time leading this last few years. Now, I am astounded when the governor claims, and they all pat themselves on the back for the surplus that we have here in Michigan and call it good government, when we all know that that surplus came as a direct result of stealing money from the school aid fund, from taxing pensioners, from taking money away from the earned income tax credit. He claims the feds should have a balanced budget, which is just pandering. Any CPA worth their salt knows that. But claims that the federal government should have a balanced budget because we do. He doesn't have a balanced budget. He's got complete control of the legislature. They get it done on time, but it's not balanced. There's a $70 million hole because he couldn't get 2 senators to vote yes for Medicaid expansion immediate effect. There's a $170 million hole because he couldn't get the health claims tax passed through his legislature. His budget isn't balanced. Give me a break. Now, how can he have the audacity to do a victory lap when parents like me who've got kids in our public schools, like most parents in this state know, 1 out of every 2 kids in our public schools is on free or reduced lunch? Child poverty is not a thumbs up in Michigan. It's a thumbs down. So it begs the question, is he just dangerously disconnected? Or does he just have a callous regard for what's going on with the rest of us? Those of us who aren't friends of Rick Snyder, who are struggling with higher class sizes, crumbling buildings, paying the bills. He talks about immigration, and that is something that I think everyone here thinks Michigan should be a state where we welcome people. But every time he signs an intolerant law taking away benefits for same-sex couples, that sends a message to the world Michigan's not the place to come to. He's undermining his own rhetoric when he signs those bills, and he signs them routinely. And I think most people in Michigan are scratching their heads a little bit saying, why do we need to import degree holders? He talks about economic gardening here. What about educational gardening and in giving our kids the degrees so they can do the jobs he's claiming to try to lure into Michigan? That's the investment that we need to make. If you want to talk about jobs, you want to talk about the economy, the best investment that we can make, and we all know it and every economist knows it, is to invest in education for our people. Now, 3 years ago, I heard the governor say jobs is job one. That rhetoric has been followed by corporate tax breaks, cuts in benefits for workers. He's cut education. They pushed through right to work, taking away our ability to bargain. When he took office, we were the 5th in the country, 5th worst for unemployment rates, and now we're 2nd in the country. That's a thumbs down, Governor Snyder. And they can't, by their own admission, point to any job growth as a result of all these policies they've pushed through. They even paper over their own record and got caught fudging the numbers. A recent analysis shows that at this pace, we are going to be 49th in the nation in 10 years. The fastest growing industry in Michigan is fast food. The people thriving are the ones in his cabinet who make exorbitant salaries paid by taxpayers, while the rest of us get concessions, benefits slashed, and rights taken away. If job one was jobs, this governor should be fired.